Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Eve, this is Rogue, and this is Everyday Artist, and welcome. Thank you to the new subscribers, I appreciate that, and if you want to tell your friends, and I do notice that I am like completely off over here. Is that better? I don't know. So today, this is episode number 52, and this is the last week of September. And I sound sick, but I don't feel sick. I'm having some allergy issues which are causing asthma issues, but yeah. I had an allergic reaction to something earlier, I want to say Thursday, and things have just not gotten back to normal. So I have a tiny bit of quilting, some sewing, and Etsy shop stuff, and some cross stitch to show you. I haven't been doing a lot since I had that reaction because my brain is not functioning. I don't know if you're aware, but when you have an asthma attack, of course you have a low oxygen level, and my I haven't gotten back up to where I should be exactly, and it just makes it kind of hard to think. And all day Friday I was just like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So I didn't really start doing anything until Saturday, and only just a little. But let's get right into it. So I started sewing that jelly roll thing that I talked about together. I started sewing that together, and it had a couple of issues, where I didn't like the way the triangles were coming together, or didn't lay as flat as I wanted. But I wanted to use steam to iron it to get it nice and flat before I did anything else with it. And I had noticed, not on this project, but on another one, that my 1/4-inch foot actually has me sew just a little wide. The 1/4-inch is just a little over a 1/4-inch. And it when I did the panel that I showed you last time that I want to do on my son's quilt, I had to adjust where I was lining things up. The problem is that isn't the edge of the foot, and so I have a little guide thingy, a magnetic guide thing, and there's a gap, so it's kind of hard to make the cloth go in the same place at the same time. And I think that's what was going on with this triangle project, jelly roll project too. And I have to be very careful, because if you're doing stuff that has to match up to other things that aren't cut, like if you're on that panel, I was making those pinwheels, and they had to come out at 5 inches to match up with the other 5-inch squares in that. And so I was running into some issues with that, which was minor. I could take it apart and fix it. The seams weren't as straight as I'd liked. But I was using my sister. When we moved into a home together, we each had our own individual things. I had an iron, she had an iron, and she just put her iron out to use, and I didn't care, so I've been using her iron. My iron isn't any better. Okay, I'm not saying my iron is better. It's not. As a matter of fact, I think hers is marginally better, just older. Anyway, I wanted to use steam, so I put water in it for steam, and I'd used steam with it before, not a lot, but I had. Normally I use a dry iron, and I spray water on the fabric rather than using steam through the iron. Well, it started leaking everywhere, and it did this to my fabric. I don't know if you can see this brown stains. It's very annoying. So I had to cut that out of that, and there's some others that aren't quite as bad, and you know, they may wash out, they may not, I don't know. But that one's really bad, and you know, my eye just kept going right to it. The others, you're like, is that part of the fabric design or what? I know it's not, but I mean, it's, you know. So I had to put that aside before I tore it shreds, and you know what I mean. So, so, and I'm still waiting for the triangle to come from Missouri Star, and I don't think it was that my triangles were so far off. I know a couple of them I switched out because they didn't seem to me like they were cut exactly right. But I'm just gonna wait until the triangle comes and then work on it some more. And I may just go ahead and sew those strip sets together for the middle part again, because I have to get more of the orange stuff to go around anyway. So, you know, I don't mind starting over. In a way, it's easier than taking everything apart and sewing it back together again, especially with the stains on everything. And I don't mind taking stuff apart. I do it all the time. You know, it's what you do. But anyway, so I didn't bring the pattern over here. So I've been preparing for some quilting for my sister, and she knows. All right. So I have been planning some quilts, and one of them is this one, Calico Cats, and it uses 5-inch squares. And the fabric that I chose for that, I'm going to have to cut it down to 5-inch squares because there weren't any charm packs in the fabric I wanted. And this also is 5-inch squares, which is a tiny version of the same cats. So I wanted to do an experiment of that. This is when I'm like, yeah, definitely I need to adjust that seam width, because it is not 1/4 of an inch. So you can see that the ears are not close enough together because of that, but it looks like a cat. These aren't the colors I'm going to use. I have other fabric, but these were charms I had sitting around. So I haven't tried the little kitties yet, because that definitely, I'm going to have to, create a ledge or something to make sure that I can get the fabric going where I want it to. But since I don't just quilt when I sew, that is going to be something that I have to be able to take on and off and on and off. So that's not quite it about quilting, but I want to go into sewing that went well. This is now on the Etsy shop. I folded in half. It's not, it's called Spiderweb Project Bag. It's got spiders too. And this same pattern is on the inside, on the handles. And it is with this. And they have a little spider. Let's see, where's the camera? And you can't see it, it's blurry, little spider. This one has a blingy spider. Let me see if I can. Anyway, that's down on the Etsy shop. And I've started making my notions pouches a little bigger. Okay, a lot bigger. They're just taller, they're not wider. With a zipper to accommodate. I find the size I was making for just fine for cross stitch, but if you're putting something bigger in there, like for crochet or knitting, like a needle or a hook, you need a little bit more room. So I thought I would go ahead and make them bigger. And hooks and needles will go out the edges, so that's why the zipper. And also, when we were filming our Three Sisters creative video, as I said, I just really couldn't concentrate. I couldn't think. And so I didn't want to work on cross stitch and have to frog everything. So I made some scissor fobs. They're cute. And you're not seeing the front of the spider. It's got like a little, not a gemstone, but you know, and little ghosts that look more like, they remind me of the octopus in Finding Nemo. The one that goes, "Aw, you made me ink." I don't remember what its name was. But these little ghosts and a spider. And these are already on the Etsy site now too. So that's it for the Etsy thing. You know, not too long. Not very painful. The only other quilting thing, remember last week I showed you the orange and Halloween fabrics and everything. These are the patterns I was talking about. This is the table runner, and this is the placemats. And you can make the other side just plain, so you know you could have it for Thanksgiving and Halloween. And I can't decide which one to do. They're free patterns from Jordan Fabrics, and they're really simple. It's just cutting out the shape and, you know, going around, flipping it over. It's not that big a deal. The placemats are, of course, much easier. And then, of course, you quilt them to look like a, you know, with the pumpkin lines. But I can't decide which one I want to do, and I have so many projects going. I'm like, do I have time to do them? I want to, because, you know, October is less than a week away. But bear with me. I am going to move the camera because this, I can't, I'd have to lie like this. That's better, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, now on to cross stitch. So first I want to talk about Tinymodernist, and all the times I've showed it to you, I haven't shown you the current version of the pattern. This is up to September. I am very far behind. I'm still in August. And very soon the last section is coming out. I'm not going to get this done in October, and I'm okay with that. I really am. I knew I wasn't going to be right on time, but with all the mistakes and everything that I've made, I'm surprised I'm as far as I am. So this is where I am now. And imagine my shock and surprise, because I had done this first row, right? And then when I went back to work on it, I was skipping to do the letters, you know, and skipping to do the letters. And I got to the end. I did the first row right. Oh, it was so nice to have it be correct. Now, as I mentioned before, the changes I made, I put red eyes on the cat instead of green, and I put purple eyeballs instead of green, and I put the bloodshot eyeballs around it. So the gray is gonna go, it looks like it's gonna go all the way down here, and I'm only about here on doing that. And you know, I could just go ahead and, you know, go down and get that all in, but it's boring and I don't want to do it. And so I'm going to finish this banner, and then hopefully by the end of the week I'll only be a month behind. Yeah, best laid plans. But I'm not going to be able, and I'm not going to try to do 2 months worth next week. I mean, next month, because I have this. I have the Halloween Gnomes by Ursula Michaels. I have Black Cat by DMC. I have the Halloween Black series, which I'm going to show you here in a sec, by Twinpeakprimitives, and I think I might have another Halloween whip. Plus I have some other whips that I want to continue to work on, which I will talk about in a minute. So that's when witches go riding. And then yesterday when I said, you know, I can maybe concentrate on one color. So I went ahead and got this, and I'm working on this one. I got this out, and this is where I am. I finished the moon, and I started in on the owl. And then I said, I'm tired of that. My brain doesn't want to do it. So, hey, stop doing that. That's gross. I decided frogging doesn't take much brain power, you know, especially not if you have to frog the whole thing. So as you recall, this is supposed to go this way. I did it wrong. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to adjust the pattern or what I wanted to do. I decided to frog the whole thing. I don't care if I finish it next year, you know. It's here. It'll be here. I can work on it whenever. So I started frogging that. Now I had I'll try to remember to put a photo up of where it was before, but I had all the white down here and the 2 reds here and all of this to over here, all the white in the center, and this blue right here and some of this white down here. So I had done a lot and I have to take it all out. So I just let it sit and languish because I didn't want to take it all out. I was annoyed. I haven't picked it up since July. But, you know, I wanted to work on something, but I didn't want to do anything that was going to make any mistakes. So I said, I'll just start frogging this. Now, I don't know if it's the perforated paper or what, because I've never worked with this paper before. It is so hard to get this thread to come out. My hands were hurting. But I got a lot of it done. And I don't know when I'll be finishing that. It's not a priority for me. I want it. I like it. I will do it. I'm not going to like set it down and never do it again. I have an itchy dog. So that's all on that. Now, when I started feeling bad, I was working on this. This is by CrossStitchingForFun. This is Art Deco Spring. And this is my showstopper for what was Cross Stitch Camp. And I'm just going to work on it. I'm going to try to do a motif at a time whenever I work on it. Well, I think the last time I was here, I had finished this bee, with the exception of the antenna. But I started on this flower, and I had to unplug my light in order to plug my nebulizer in, and I need it there ready for me to use, so I haven't switched that back. But I haven't gotten very far on this flower. But as I said, you know, it's something that I know is going to take me some time, so I'm not going to stress about it or worry about it. I almost picked this for my June cross stitch camp, inspiration because I'd seen it. I think it was on embroidery.com. I saw the someone was working on the summer version that has dragonflies. So pretty. And I was like, oh, I want to go look at that. And they're not expensive. Their Cross-Stitching for Fun's patterns are very reasonable. So I ended up buying all 4 seasons. And so for my showstopper, I'm going to do all 4. But it's going to take me some time because I'm doing other things. But there may be a time, I don't anticipate that this year because I have some plans for the fall. But there may be a time, next year where that's all I want to work on. So, I don't know. I know that the summer is my favorite one, but the winter with birds is beautiful. I don't have a cloth picked for that yet. It's going to be on 28 count even weave because the other ones are, but these are very subtle, soft backgrounds that I dyed, and I might want to, have something subtle and soft for that too. But I just love the pattern, so we'll see. And then my last whip. Okay, so my dog has been barking at the neighbor across the street who had the audacity to want to come home. So my last whip is Until Good Night, Stitching with the Housewives. This, I kind of want to finish before Christmas, but I don't know. It's not looking good. Excuse me. So, this is where I am. I went ahead and put in the red before I started working on the teal again, just to, just go from top to bottom. The pattern doesn't have, because it's supposed to be done on black. Let me see if I can have this where I can. So in here, there's no stitches, and in the windows, there's no stitches because it's supposed to be black, the black of the fabric. And probably I ran out of yellow with 2 little squares. I mean, I had a little piece this big. There was just no way. So, pardon the growling dog. She's annoying. I am so sorry. I'm going to finish it and then look at it and see if I should go back and put in black in all the windows. But right now I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to. But I'm going to do the rest of this window when I get out yellow to work on something else. I'm not going to get out yellow just for 2 little windows and then have nothing else to work on it with. So that's all of my whips. Starting October 1st, I'm participating in Witchy Stitchy with embroidery.com. It's a challenge where to stitch 30 minutes a day. You can miss, I think, 4 days. But you post every day your start and finish so that you can prove that you actually did something that day. And if you have enough days by the end of the month, you get a little needle minder. I love my Witchy Stitchy needle minder from last year. It's beautiful. So I don't have it on any of these because it's on a Halloween project. So I'm thinking that I'm going to work on Halloween gnomes, which is so close to not being done at all. I don't even have one gnome, and I think there's 5, and yeah, I'm doing it on 18 count Ada, and it has a lot of half stitches, and I wish I had chosen anything else, even 14 count. I haven't said what I'm working on any of these, with the exception of the Cross Stitching for Fun. I'm working on 14 count Ada. That is my preference. I do like 28 count even weave. The patterns that I bought for last week they're done on 36 count, and I know I'm not going to be able to do that. But if I put them on 14 count or 28 count, they're going to be huge. And so I have to decide if that's what I want to do or not. So I'm not sure if I want to, I'm not sure if what I'm going to stitch that on. I have the 32 count fabric that I used on the mouse. I have most of that left. I might do one of those pieces on that. I already know that it's difficult to see, but the Holly Jolly pattern uses bright, very dark threads, so it might be easier because I was doing a lot of white on that really light fabric. So that was really difficult for me to see. Plus now I have these other eye drops and stuff, so it's a little bit easier. So I'll think about that. So I have to, I want to start on one of those, but I'm wondering if I'm going to wait. I have the 2 Halloween patterns I have here, and I have the Halloween gnomes and the black cat, which is also on 18 count Ada, and they were from the same piece of cloth. I just dyed them different colors, and I don't like 18 count Ada. I don't like it at all, because 14 count, if you need to do a half stitch or something, you know, it's pretty easy to poke the needle in the right spot. But with 18 count, it's much more difficult. It's like the threads are so tight together that you can't really get that needle to go through where you need it to go. So there's that. So I do want to still keep working on my showstopper, you know, a little bit at a time. And I do want to still do some work on Until All a Good Night, a little bit at a time. I'm still looking forward to November and December. And I have quite a bit of sewing to do because not just the quilts that I have in mind for gifts, but like my son's quilt, he's out of town right now, and I might get, you know, a lot done on it while he's not here. But I also have a lot of pillowcases to make. Now, it's just basically 2 seams and finishing. But it's still, there's a lot of pillowcases. Our subscribers have been very generous. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, look at 411 Project. You can see it through our link tree that'll be down below. It's a charity project that we're doing in honor of my mother, that we are making pillowcases for a children's home in New Mexico. So I have that sewing, and I have to, you know, put in time for that. And then, yeah, so we'll see. I have a tiny bit of haul. I mentioned that I was going to get a jelly roll from Fat Quarter Shop, and here it is. It's called All About Christmas from Riley Blake. Anyway, it's got some really cute, I don't want to open it. I'm not planning to use it. It's got some music. I'm not planning to use it really quickly. And like a little girl and some other really cute patterns that I just really like. And I was eyeing this for a layer cake, and then I decided to get the jelly roll. I don't have a pattern in mind yet. I just wanted it. My dad just went out, so the dog has to bark some more. I'm sorry. And lastly, I got these pins. These have kitty heads. The package, it looks like a kitty. And these have unicorns. I'm not planning to use them as straight pins. I have an idea for these, but I'm not going to talk about that because people that I have some ideas that I'm going to use them on, and if I do that, I don't want to tell anybody about it. Not yet. It's just for gifts for Christmas, so it's not like a big deal. Well, thank you for listening. Apologize again for my dog. Hopefully I'll have more to show and some parts of quilting that's actually quilting next week. Actually, my plans for today are to hit the sewing table. So I have a couple more Halloween bags, and I have some Christmas bags that I need to work on, and I have tons and tons of quilts that I need to work on, and pillowcases. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time at the sewing machine for the foreseeable future, and I'm okay with that. I like sewing. But I do want to get some cross stitch done too. So anyway, thanks again. Check out our Etsy shop. The link is below in the description, and I'll see you again next Monday. Thanks.